On Thursday, Paul Manafort officially pled guilty to reduced charges from special counsel Robert Mueller in exchange for cooperating with Mueller's investigation into Russian involvement in the 2016 election. Talking Points analyst Michael Furnari is here with more information. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. And what were some of the more specific details of this deal, and what do you think Manafort has to provide to Robert Mueller, if anything?
Well, yeah, so this is going to head off Paul Manafort's second trial. And so what Manafort's agreed to do here is he's agreed to provide basically whatever cooperation the council wants. So he's going to be providing interviews, providing documents, he'll testify in front of a grand jury if they wish. And one of the more important points here is that Paul Manafort has agreed that the special counsel can delay his sentencing however long they want. So what this means basically is that Paul Manafort's cooperation is enough once they say it's enough. And the sentencing can go on, his sentence can be delayed as long as they want it to be. And also with regards to his charges, the bank fraud charges, which were the bulk of what he was facing, has been dropped. But the conspiracy charges and the charges with regards to not declaring his status as a foreign agent, those are still going to be there.
So we have the former campaign manager of a sitting president being indicted. That doesn't happen overnight. Very quickly, how did we get here?
Yeah, so if you take a look back at the 2016 election, we don't always remember what that campaign was like now that he's the president, but it was really a very chaotic period for that campaign. They were going through staff very, very quickly. They were so inexperienced, and it led them to be kind of desperate. And Paul Manafort, after a really positive meeting with the president, was able to kind of find his way into the group of core advisors. Now, there's definitely an irony here, because the campaign was so based on draining the swamp and was so based on being away from the Washington elite that they didn't really have the wherewithal to know exactly who Paul Manafort was, and they ended up bringing one of Washington's biggest hucksters into their campaign. And so what exactly Paul Manafort has been doing for years is that he trades influence. So he latches onto a powerful figure, and he uses that to leverage deals with foreign governments. And that's exactly what he did with the Trump campaign. And the Trump campaign didn't see it coming. They found out about his Ukrainian deals from the New York Times, like everybody else did.
Right, and I guess the big overall picture in all of this is, how real of a threat is this investigation to the Trump presidency?
That's a good question, and that's of course what's been hanging over all this. And I think my personal opinion with so much of what we've seen from Trump, I try not to point to malice when I can point to ignorance. And I think it's hard. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to tie anything to President Trump directly. But we'll see what happens, of course.
Well, yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see what Manafort tells Robert Mueller in the investigation.
The United States has committed 17